Good day. My name is Marilyn Balopi, and today my group members, Carlin Watson Ben, Natasha Khati, Kito Mompati, and Nothando Mdluli and I will be presenting on the numerous stages of research writing, which consist of the topic, introduction, research problem, objectives, hypothesis, literature review, research design, discussion, conclusion, lastly, recommendations.
My name is Kito Mompati, and I'm here to talk about the introduction and the topic in research writing. Starting off introduction, the introduction is an opening section of the research writing, and its purpose is to guide the reader into studying. Think of it as a roadmap. It tells the reader what the research is all about, why it matters, and what they should expect. All right. A strong introduction usually has three parts: the background information, the context, and the highlights of the problem, or the gap that the researchers address. Finally, it states the objectives or the purpose of the study. In short, the introduction answers the questions: why are we doing this research, and what will it cover? With the topic is a subject. It's the subject of your research, while the introduction is an opening section of the research that explains the background. Together, a topic summarizes the groundwork of the entire research journey.
My name is Nothando Mdluli, and I will be telling you about the research design in literature review. A research design is the plan or framework used to conduct a research study. A well-designed research study should have a clear and well-defined research question, a detailed plan for collecting data, and a method for analyzing and interpreting results. Creating a research design means making decisions about research objectives, primary or secondary research, sampling methods, data collection methods, and the procedures you'll follow to collect data. Research design elements include a clear purpose, sampling, data collection, data analysis, type of research methodology, time frame, ethical consideration, and research objectives describe what your research is trying to achieve and explain why you are pursuing it. They summarize the approach and purpose of your project and help to focus your research. Your objectives should appear in the introduction of your research paper at the end of your problem statement. They should establish the scope and depth of your project, contribute to your research design, indicate how your project will contribute to existing knowledge. The objective should be SMART, meaning specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. How objectives guide the research process: they provide direction, they structure the argument, define scope, and ensure clarity.
My name is Marilyn Balopi. Today I will be presenting on hypothesis and literature review. The meaning of hypothesis is that in research writing, it is a statement that predicts or proposes a possible connection between variables. It is testable, meaning researchers can check whether it is true or false through study and evidence. It acts as a guide for the whole research process. There is null hypothesis. This is where there's no relationship or effect between the variables. There's alternative hypothesis. This suggests there is a relationship or effect between the variables. A literature review in research writing is the part of a study where you look at and discuss what other scholars have already written about. Instead of presenting new results, it focuses on summarizing, comparing, and analyzing past studies to highlight what is already known, what gaps exist, and how your own research will contribute. Qualities of a good literature review consist of it being well-structured. This means that it's organized by themes, topics, or time periods. Next is that it should be critical. examines strengths and weaknesses of past work, not just summaries. Lastly, it should be focused, includes only studies relevant to your research. You should summarize studies showing benefits, positive effects, then look at your research showing downside, negative effects. Finally, explain what hasn't been studied yet, which leads to your research focus. In simple, a literature review is a summary and evaluation of existing research that sets the stage for your own study.
My name is Cullen, and I'll be talking about the conclusion and the discussion as a stage in research writing. So, the conclusion represents the concluding phase of a research paper where you combine essential findings, restate the thesis and issue, and deliver a take-home message regarding the significance of the study. Its role is to finalize the paper by creating a lasting impression on the reader, highlighting the importance of the research without introducing any new information. So, what is the purpose of the conclusion? Number 1, provide closure. The conclusion serves to finalize the research by recapping the main points and arguments, offering the reader a feeling of completion. Number 2, reinforce significance. The conclusion provides a chance to emphasize the importance of the research and its impact on the field. Number 3, offer a final thought. You present the reader with a memorable take-home message or lasting impactful impression of your work. I will now be talking about the discussion. The discussion serves a pivotal component of research writing, where authors analyze the results, elucidating their significance in relation to the research questions and existing literature. So, what the discussion section achieves? We have interprets findings, move beyond merely presenting the outcomes, clarify their implications and importance, relates to research questions, illustrate how your outcomes respond to the initial research question or hypothesis established in the introduction, and then connect to literature. Examine how your results align or diverge from earlier studies, emphasizing agreements, discrepancies, or fresh perspectives. Discusses implications. Elucidate the wider effects of your research, encompassing practical, theoretical, or policy-related consequences. And finally, we have addresses limitations. Recognize the shortcomings or constraints of your study, which can provide context and indicate areas for further investigation. Suggests future research. Offer specific proposals for future research that could expand on your findings or tackle the identified limitations.
Hello guys, my name is Natasha and I'll be presenting on recommendations and research problems. What are recommendations? These are clear practical suggestions based on your research findings that help solve the problem your study is focused on and guide the research. There are key features of a good recommendation. It should be actionable, evidence-based, clear and specific, audience-focused, and logical. How to write recommendations? They should have review findings. You should prioritize, meaning that you should pick the most important and useful suggestion, be clear, and stay relevant. You should also avoid adding new information. What is a research problem? A research problem is a clear and focused statement that identifies something missing, wrong, or unknown in a field. It guides the researcher by showing what needs to be studied and why it matters. The purpose of a research problem. It identifies a knowledge gap. It gives direction, shows importance. This means that it explains why the topic matters and what it will contribute. Characteristics of a good research problem. It is clear and concise, specific, relevant, and doable.
With the above mentioned, here's the recap. Topic in research writing is a subject of interest of the study that the researcher would have chosen. Introduction in research writing is the background of the research writing. The research problem in research writing is an issue that is studied or researched on by the researcher. Objectives in research writing are more like goals to achieve in research writing. Research design outlines the study, laying out a vivid plan to the researcher. Hypothesis in research writing is a statement that predicts or proposes a possible connection between variables. Literature review in research writing is the part of a study where you look at and discuss what other scholars have already written about the topic. The discussion plays a crucial role in interpreting the findings of a study. Conclusion serves to provide closure or summarizing the main points. The recommendation in research writing acts as an action to do based on the research work. Thank you for watching.